11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Ferraro won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
To those joining me live and those that have been joining me on the archive, the style here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday hump day. This is the 18th of February, 2026. The Style Boxing Live. Let's talk some boxing. If you're watching on the archive, hit the like button, leave a comment, and tell me what you think. Shout out to those that have been commenting. Wheelchair Man John doing his thing. Something I'll start launching. I'm going to start this. I'm going to have the subscriber of the month, or I might even do the week, and I'm going to base it on activity in the chat. If they share the content, commenting on the comment section. I'll trust that they're hitting the like button and all that good stuff. And we'll start that pretty soon, probably after this week. All right, Lennox was best in the building. I'll be interested to hear this. Shout out to you, brother. I hope everything is good on your end. And anybody else listening, by the way. Man, so much shit going on. Like the drama is there, right? So much drama. We're not even done with February yet, but the drama is like going crazy right now. And I know it's a short month. The month will be over soon. But hey, all right, check this out. We're gonna be talking about Eddie Hearn. They know why. We're gonna play a little clip. I'm gonna react to it a little bit, right? We're also gonna talk about the WBC $40,000 emerald, gold, and silver and ruby championship chain or whatever. What are you doing? What? We're going to talk about all that, but let's get this started. Look, first of all, shout out to y'all. I know Lennox was best. Like his favorite sanctioned by the president is Mauricio Suleiman. Man, that dude. All right. This is your, I don't know if you guys recognize what we have over here, but this is I can't picture a world without the WBC starter pack. That's what that is. All right? Like, that's exactly what this is, bro. Like, all these, like, bro. Did you see I wish I had it ready to go here, but the boxing scene, that one dude, he's like talking. He's like, I just can't envision it. I mean, without the WBC, I remember Chavez holding the belt up, and I remember like Lennox Lewis, and I just can't. I don't know how I could possibly envision, boxing without the WBC. I just can't do it. Like, what do you mean you can't do it? Like, what are you talking about? But it's always been around. Like, maybe in your lifetime, but I'm not saying it's not significant. I'm not saying that a world without WBC isn't like a big change. But like this whole, like, I just can't. So I get WBC gets to do whatever they want, be as corrupt as they want, fuck over fighters all they want, because hey, well, what are they too big to fail? Is that what it is? Is it too nostalgic to fail? Is that what it is? Well, let me remind you that all of these things here, somebody shared Radio Shack as well, by the way, but Radio Shack's like the IBO, right? But the CD, Kmart, Blockbuster, Sears, at one point Sears was the biggest box store in America. It was bigger than all of them. It was the largest employer in the United States of America. What does it have to do with boxing? Like, you know what I mean? If you don't get the reference, that's on you, right? Go ask somebody about it. Okay? Go ask Auntie about it. Right? And what she's asking, why you have too many girlfriends, you could be an auntie. I'm calling because I want to know, why is Diesel comparing the WBC and all these dudes to fucking Sears? What's going on? And she'll explain it to you. All right? Me preguntó por qué tengo muchas novias. Y luego me dijo por qué Diesel dijo. And then she's going to tell you, yeah, they used to be a big deal. Sears was like the shit. Nobody could imagine life without Sears, right? It was impossible, all right? Craftsman Tools was created by Sears. They had their own tire line. They had their own shit about everything, bro. People bought all their appliances there. People bought their clothes there. Sears, they made 2-story Sears buildings. They created the tallest building in the world. The Sears Tower. They still call it the Sears Tower. Now it's called the Willis Tower. It sounds stupid, by the way. The Willis Tower. Like, what is that? What? What are we talking about? It was the tallest building in the world, bro. It's crazy. Is that what the cool kids say now? And then, of course, Kmart. By the way, have you been to a Sears lately? I mean, there's like 3 of them. I think one of them's in El Paso, by the way. I never go there. Like nobody goes there. It's crazy. Like the lights aren't even all on every letter. Like I think the A or the E has no lights on it. I mean, it's crazy. But then you have Kmart. Right now, shout out to Carl. Right? Shout out to Carl. I'm going to wrench up Carl. Right? But shout out to Carl. And look, you know what? It's not letting me do it. What was this? I'll have to do it later. But I think Kmart is like flourishing in Australia, but it has no connection at all with like the lineage of Kmart here in the U.S. But anyway, I think I'm right about that. I think like Kmart's like a thing in Australia. It's not the same Kmart though. But it might have like the same history, or at some point. But nonetheless, Kmart at one point overtook Sears as the like greatest, like it was the biggest deal, right? It was the biggest box store over Walmart, over all of them, right? It was all about Kmart. Now Kmart never, it never improved. It never. It was 2010. You would walk in and it felt like you went back in time in the 1980s. No more blue light saving sales or nothing like that. But it just everything. The fridges looked old. The cashiers took like 10 minutes to process your order and shit. Like it was insane, right? And they never improved. They stayed stuck in their past, and they never, eventually by the time they wanted to reinvent themselves, they never quite got there. Never quite. All right. Kmart could have been where Walmart is, and Sears could have been where Amazon was, but they never had the vision to get with the times. Right? The Sears catalog was that big. But anyway, you know what happened? Well, Kmart and Sears, it's something very similar that the sanctioning bodies today do, right? That's what Mauricio Suleiman and all the other sanctioning body presidents right now, right? Like they're joining forces. All these boxing promoters, all of a sudden, are joining forces, right? They're coming together all of a sudden. We're going to join forces. Well, that's exactly what Kmart and Sears did. They joined forces, right? But all they really did was merge 2 trash brands, right? That were so far behind, not with the times, and merging just made things shit worse, actually, right? So they're gone. Remember Blockbuster? Remember how Blockbuster was like the Like that was the place to go, right? If you play video games, you went to Blockbuster. Every Friday after school, right? You go to Blockbuster. You get to pick a movie. Look all these movies I could pick from, right? And if you were lucky, right, you got to pick one of the new releases, right? Remember the new release section, right? I remember I would walk through the section where we had all the old school like WWF, like pay-per-views and stuff, and you know, it was 99 cents, you know, or whatever, or maybe a little more than that, but you know, I like to order those movies, and then you could smell the popcorn, you know what I mean, and you know, there was always like a cute girl at the counter with a little, you know, blue vest and all that good stuff, and it seemed to me anyway that most of the dudes that worked there were kind of, you know, but it's okay, it's whatever, but anyway, you were there to rent a movie, and then they had the candies like at the counter like they do at the movie theaters, right? Right. So you know what I mean? And here you are. Oh man, I want one of these box of candies right here. And they had the popcorn they could buy on the way out, and you know what I mean? And then like never return the movies on time. So it was always more expensive than usual. And most of us still have some like Blockbuster video things somewhere, like you know what I mean. It's collecting dust in an attic or some shit somewhere, or it's somewhere, like you know what I mean, some box or somewhere. But those blue and yellow colors, you know, they were so iconic. And I still remember in the early 2000s, right? Like the head of Blockbuster Video would come out and be like, "We're not worried about Netflix. We're not worried about them. The people, they love the experience of, going to the movies and being able to just go to the movies and to pick one up, and the experience of entering a Blockbuster Video and scrolling through all the different movies and stuff like that. I mean, that's an experience that you cannot get by just ordering it over the mail. It's an experience that streaming can possibly give you, and people, they want the experience, not just the like bullshit. Let's go on. Have you? When's the last time you went to a Blockbuster? Never. Mostly when your daddy's nutsacks when there's a freaking Blockbuster around, but that's what it was, right? And then you have the CD. I still remember like when Napster was coming out, and that was the start of like people downloading music, and eventually like they had to create apps that controlled it all, right? And let me tell you right now, like I still, what I could tell you is this, right? I still remember the arguments that artists would make, or people that were enthusiasts of the CD, when it was obvious that people were downloading music, or it was just accessible to just download, you know, on an iPod or something, and then it was getting worse, like when iTunes came out and stuff like that, and they're like, no, but you need to understand, people love the experience of buying the CD, you know, and the artwork on it, and opening the CD and looking at it for the first time and inserting it inside and having the, you know, having to wait and listen to all the songs, not just the ones on the radio. And like I still remember all that. Well, that's what a lot of you sound like right now, right? I mean, a world without the WBC, I just can't envision it. I just can't picture it. Like, is it really that hard? Life, ladies and gentlemen, life is a chess match. That's what life is. You got to think ahead. All right? And this industry needs to look ahead. Pieces are moving. You need to think ahead. All right? The pieces that are being moved right now, that's going to lead to an eventual checkmate. Most checkmates, they don't just happen, all right? They were looked at ahead of time, 2-3 steps ahead of time, 4 steps ahead of time. 4 steps ago, you make the mistake to let a rook in a certain square, and that led to your downfall. You just didn't know it yet. And that's exactly where the sanctioning bodies are right now. That's where these promoters are right now. They don't realize, bro, like you if you were chess masters, you would have resigned already. But these that would like honestly, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, it's checkmate. You know, at the greatest level with grandmasters, it never gets to the checkmate because they already know, like, oh, like it's impossible for me to win. They do the calculations. This is over, right? But if I play a chess master or you do, the chess master's going to know the moment it was over, right? It's just a matter of moving the pieces and putting an end to it now. But I'm not going to know it. You're not going to know it, right? You may know a couple of steps later, but the point is, or moves, I'm sorry, moves. Right, ladies and gentlemen, they're in trouble, brother. Right? Shout out to the one and the only. I'm going to read the chats in a little bit here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Mr. MAW. All right? 1231. I hope that's not your password for all your emails and stuff. You know what I mean? But nobody try. If it is, go change it now. But hello, boxing fans. D-Style and chat. Yo, D-Style, please remind us of your findings with the WBC when you went through their financial report and where sanctioning fees go. Subscribe, share, smash the like button, folks. Please. Hey, thank you for those 20 Australian dollars. That's much appreciated, brother. All right. Since he asked, right? We'll when I get to the WBC, we'll definitely. In fact, let's start with WBC right now. Shit, you know what are we waiting for? We might as well just go to it now. All right. And something I want to show you guys. I mean, I couldn't believe what I saw, bro. I just, this is a fucking joke, dude. Like, I'm gonna share this, and this is an absolute joke, is what this is. Okay. Look at this shit. Look at this. What is that? Can I do this? Hold on. I'm just checking something real quick, guys. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. The WBC introduced the main event World Championship chain and pendant made with 18.9 carat and emeralds and diamonds. The chain and pendant has estimated value of $40,000 and will be awarded exclusively to world champions competing in designated main events. All right? Main event bouts. And this is what it looks like. All right? $40,000. $40,000. Oh, well, what is it to you? What is this? What the hell is this? What a joke. All right? What a waste. Like this is a waste of sanctioning body money. And you got to be in the main event. Right? In a WBC sanctioned fight. Okay, they're going to be giving this away in every main event. Something tells me they're not really going to do that. Like if it's a main event for a WBC title and it's like Joe Schmo fighting for it, I really doubt they're going to give him a $40,000 chain when they're only collecting like a couple like thousands from him for sanction fees. I really doubt that. All right? But let me ask you guys this, like when Mauricio says we did everything possible to lower the sanctioning fees. The WBC works with these fighters. We try to lower the fees as much as possible. We skin it to the bones, right? We only want money for like operating costs and to help fighters in need with the Jose Suleiman Fund. That's it. That's all we want to do, right? That's all you want to do. That's it? No, No, sir. Now I know where all the other comes from. So since MAW brought it up, let's go over the 2023, right? We're going to go over the 2023 tax forms of the WBC, right? Right now, we're going to do it. And if you've never seen this, I suggest you look at it. So we're going to go over it right now. Remember, Mauricio said out of his own mouth, I do everything possible to lower the sanctioning fees, he said. Everything. Never mind the fact that he collects more sanctioning fee money than any other sanctioning organization. Never mind that, right? So we're going to go over it right now. And here it is. This is y'all's favorite sanctioning body president, Mauricio Suleiman, right? And let me read this really quick. Chico, shout out. He says, realistically, can Boxing America even grow on the zone with their, with their I don't know why I cannot pronounce that, but it is what it is. With their crazy, stupid ass paywall, okay, expensive paywall, the zone, it's not going to grow on the zone. In fact, I would argue that Canelo lost a lot of popularity and visibility when he was on the zone, if I'm honest. But they never hit 1 million buys when he was on the zone, and that's for a reason. When he was coming off hot with the Triple G fights, doing over 1 million buys. So yeah, all right. So let's go over this. So this is, I'm going to show you guys the IBFs first, okay? And it's not, and it's not that crazy, all right? Look at this. Let's just go over it. And look how neat it is, how itemized it is, right? 52,000 for grants, 670,000 for compensation of officers, and that's to pay the people that work in the IBF, okay? Other salaries and wages, 178,000. Pension plans, 3,000. Other employee benefits, they have it right there, 82,000. Payroll taxes, 37,000. Legal, I guess that's for to pay lawyers and stuff, 54,000. Accounting, to pay the accountants, 29,000, right? 21,000 for investment management. Advertising and promotion, 18,000. Office expenses, 14,000. Information technology, I still don't know what that is, by the way, but I'm sure that's something important. 61,000. Usually I would raise an eyebrow at that, but just wait till I show the WBC. Occupancy, 86,000. Travel, 1,967. Conferences, conventions, meetings, 462,000. I'm sure they include the airfares there, but all right. And then look, insurance, 46,000. That's the insurance, it's like the life insurance that they pay, and insurance for bouts to cover fighters in the fight and stuff like that. Championship bouts, 107,000. Postage and shipping, 30,000. Telephone, I still don't know why they're spending $13,000 a year on telephone. Maybe they pay every employee's telephone lines and their family. I really don't know what that is, but whatever. Bank charges, cool. All other expenses, $21,000. All other expenses, 16,000, guys. Okay. Now, let's look at the WBC. Right? This is Carl's favorite sanctioning body organization. Right? But let's come on now. There we go. So let's look at it, right? What is going on, brother? I can't get this shit to settle in. There we go. All right. So, seriously. Give me a second, guys. Let me make sure I got this right. All right. So look. All empty, nothing for grants, stuff like that. And then you got 1,601,000 for salaries and wages. Okay. Apparently, no pensions, nothing like that. Apparently, no other benefits for employees. 79,000 goes to payroll taxes, right? So basically, whatever they get paid, they get a W-2 form. That's between them and the IRS, okay? Management, 56,000. Legal, 77,000. Advertisement and promotion, 73,000. Office expenses, 196,000. Right? You always hear Mauricio, right? He's like, oh yeah, we pay for this. We pay. It's all there, right? We have offices. We have insurance. We pay for the conferences. It's all there. Travel, 400,000. Conferences, 183,000. Right? Insurance, 94,000. Clean boxing program, we pay for the VADA. The VADA, we pay for that, right? So there you go. The VADA is 142,000 a year. They don't even care, by the way. I mean, Alicia Baumgartner tests positive. They cleared her. Like everyone that tests positive when they clear anyway, it seems like a waste of money to me. Might as well let the fighters keep their money, instead of, whatever. Committee expenses, 153,000. Trophy and belts, 178,000. By the way, at least with the WBC, the promoters pay for the belts. So it's kind of interesting that they put that as an itemized amount. However, look at the other. $2,285,000 on other. What the fuck is that, bro? Shout out to Chico. Thanks for the super chat. What is that? That's what they put on other. You're looking at it. That's your tax form. It's publicly available. Anybody could look at them because they're a non-profit organization. They're not a for-profit organization. Right? I know Mauricio acts like he's getting doxxed when people bring up his taxes, but like this is publicly available information. Your ass pays no taxes. Okay? So since you're tax-free, this is publicly available information. If you want to be a for-profit business, right? That's fine. Go be a for-profit business. Charge whatever you want in sanctioning fees. Spend the money on whatever you want to spend it on, right? But you're going to pay a tax. You're going to get taxed, all right? You don't want to do that? Okay, cool. We're going to go ahead and talk about this because you're tax-free, right? You do business in this country. You make the most money in this country than any other country in the world, right? So you have a lot to answer to taxpayers like me, right? You don't just have it all hunky-dory and you're good forever, right? So there you go, MAW, right? So as far as those 2.2 million, right? Mauricio likes to make people believe that he only spends or that he gives it to the Jose Suleiman fund. That's what he likes people to believe. Or it goes to fighters in need, right? But the Jose Suleiman fund, you don't have to be a mathematician to know this, guys, but so listen carefully. The Jose Suleiman fund has spent $2.5 million, right, since 2012. If they're racking up $2.2 million a year after all their expenses, and since 2012, they spent $2.5 million. This is what Mauricio Suleiman said. Giving to fighters in need. Am I glad that they give it to fighters in need? Sure, that's great. But where's the rest of the money? Where's the money going? $2.5 million since 2012, bro. We're in 2026. Where's the money going? That's roughly what you make in a year on your all other. Where is like the other years? There's like over 10 years of money missing. You tell me. Where's the money at? Well, it turns out that they use the money to make statues and for chains made of emerald and gold and diamonds worth $40,000. Let's say that's true. I don't know if that's true, but let's say that's true, right? What a waste of money. And you're going to do it for every main event? Like all of them? That's almost $50,000 you're going to spend for every main event. Like within a couple of years, you're going to spend more on that than what you spend for fighters in need. You know, maybe those $47,000, you should be helping some fighters in need because you have a lot of money that you haven't used yet. Unless you have. Hashtag audit the WBC. All right? It's time to get audited, is what I'll say. All right? Let me read through some of these comments, and then we'll continue in a little bit. Lennox was best. I was just typing on Twitter. Hearn obviously knows what he's doing. He's trying to create outrage with nostalgic cult-like fans. But truth be told, if Hearn's own business wasn't affected, he'd agree. Right? 100%. I don't believe Hearn has any respect at all for the sanctioning bodies besides his own business, or he'd be doing the same as Dana in principle, if he could. A salute to you too, brother. Okay, and Lennox was best continues. In fact, I'm pretty sure Hearn was saying years ago about making his own belt. Was he? The boxing rule. We were just talking about that yesterday, bro. We were about the whole Blockbuster thing. Shout out to you, brother. It's called convenience these days. Well, it's always been about convenience. Everything's about convenience, right? Every form of technology that has advanced us, convenience had something to do with it, right? The new technology was just more convenient, right? So it overtook, right? You know, in its own evolutionary way, overtook the old way, right? Like a survival of the fittest, but with appliances or with products that we use or whatever the case is. Services that we render, convenience always wins out every time, right? Every single time. So, I was born ready, says Eric Gomez. All right. Boxeroo, that's a good one. I would never have guessed that. I think he's talking about the amount that thing cost. Eric Gomez says it's marketing. Well, good for you. But I just don't agree with that form of marketing. All right. Wheelchair Man John, the sanctioning bodies need to be abolished. You either adapt or you become extinct. That's where it's at. This is changing of the power in boxing. I'm not a big Dana and Eddie. I'm not big on a Dana and Eddie pissing match. Right. $79K tax out of $1.6 million. I need their accountant. Right. Well, me too. I don't know what their W-2 forms look like. So, and I don't know what all that entails, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind. We can't look at those. Those are private. That's their own private, forms. Eric Gomez says, I am on snack and don't report me to Vada style. Right. Don't worry. Amadis Suleiman will clear you, bro. It's all good. Other is a great way of saying we be criminals, all right? Says the boxing rule, right? And one more here, the boxing rule. MAW, the Shane Wayne Foundation runs at an operating cost of 87 cents in the $1 so far. Every dollar you donate, the organization actually give out 13 cents. Man. Now, this is a little different than a it is a nonprofit. It's a C6, but it's for a league, right? So it is a little different. They are supposed to through their own mission statement, be using all of this money for operating costs, and they need to show it on the forms, and everything needs to go towards the benefit of boxing. I just don't understand what this $43,000 chain or whatever is going to do for boxing as a whole, right? So that's just the way I feel about it. Okay. Eric Gomez, an audit will only happen if funds are only reported correctly or some mischievous act can be reported. Well, I just reported one. I'm just saying. Just because someone doesn't like what they spend money on doesn't make it illegal. No, like I want to know why 40% is on the all other section. Why does the IBF have 16,000 on their all other, but the WBC has over 2 million? 2 million, like 280,000. That's crazy, bro. I'm trying to tell you, all right? Boxing Rule, that's insane when it comes to the breakdown. The tax return of the other column has 40% of their income in. Absolutely. I wonder if cocaine expenses come on other. I don't know. We do not know where that's coming from. Okay. One more here. MAW. To be honest, I would prefer that the sanctioning bodies, because all freedom of movement for fighters, but Zuffa has arrived now. There's room for both, in my honest opinion. All right. Well, the sanctioning body, like somebody asked earlier, how's the IBF going to feel about Jaya Pattaya embracing the fact that he could be the Zuffa champion and all that, right? This is what the IBF could do. They could shut the fuck up and collect their sanctioning fees. What they could do. Shut up, sit down, relax, and collect your sanctioning fee. That's what they could do. Batista, you were just praising it for only taking 16. I don't give a shit. Just because they're not as bad as the WBC, that doesn't mean I don't have questions about them. But let's talk about this MLO. How's it going, brother? Let's talk about this other shit, okay? Let's talk about some of this other stuff here. And so if I bring it up, Eddie Hearn is going amok, bro. I got some clips here. It might be the same clip in one, but one includes Dana. So, but we're gonna share it here. And look, it should be very interesting. This will be a lot faster. If StreamYard, there's a specific thing StreamYard does that's annoying, but it's all good. Let's talk about Eddie Hearn. Let's play this and let's talk about it. Right? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play this and talk about it.
I would think Turkey is watching those shows going, this is a pile of That's what I would think. Because Turkey Al-Sheikh expects the best. He expects the best matchup. He expects the best production. He expects the big crowds. He expects the great press conferences and the weigh-ins and the anticipation and the spinning of a narrative and a storyline, which none of this have. They do the weigh-in in some random back room with Tom Loeffler in the middle, who I love.
I mean... Let's play the rest.
And then they do a show with about 100 people, half empty, with absolutely zero atmosphere. And like I said, Max Kellerman literally talking the biggest load of...
He is right about Max Kellerman. Like, Max needs to, relax. Like he really does. He's hurting the product.
I've ever heard in my life.
But you guys were pals, though. You and Dana White were like...
I have no problem with it. Listen, I have no problem. This is why I'm surprised. Because, as I said, it normally takes...
You don't have a problem with him. Like, stop capping, bro. Stop the cap.
Someone a good few years to be that battered into submission that you start getting personal and saying, well, he works for his dad. It's like, mate, do you realise how shit... And what did he say about bashing babies or something? What the...
Oh, my God. He said bashing babies. Oh, my God. I do declare.
The geezer's lost the plot already. He's only done 4 shows. I would think...
By the way, and this is no offense to all my British friends out there. British people are cool and all, but y'all suck at talking trash, bro. I'm just being honest with you. All right? You lost the plot, mate. Like what? Like what? Is that like what are we not? They're only on their third show. Like, what are we doing? Turkey's got to be look at it and just be disgusted. Really? After Turkey saw, like, you're talking about the same Turkey Al Sheikh that boxed himself in Times Square, right? So all the rest of Times Square couldn't even watch the fights, and sat there through Devin Haney versus Ramirez. I think Turkey's going to be okay. If he survived that, he'll be okay, right? This same Turkey Al Sheikh that put shows over there in Saudi, and it's like half empty, like empty seats everywhere, no energy. Like, you know what I mean? They put them over there. There was I never seen. I thought it was Dia de los Muertos, not Cinco de Mayo over there. Oh, we're gonna celebrate Cinco de Mayo with Canelo, and it's fucking dead. Now, what the fuck is this Dia de los Muertos, bro? What's going on? Is it the Day of the Dead? That's another holiday over there in Mexico. Is that what we're doing here? It's fucking dead, bro. Like empty. I never seen so many empty seats at a Canelo fight. I think it's gonna be okay, actually. All right. Eddie, Mr. I put fights on in Monte Carlo in front of like 200 people. Like, what are we doing? Right? Mr. Eddie Hearn, I put Bam Rodriguez in Phoenix because he thinks a lot of Mexicans live there and he thinks that's just going to sell. What's in the desert, right? Is that where the Mexicans live? Half of the arena for the Edwards fight was empty. Eddie, I can't figure out that I got to put Bam Rodriguez in San Antonio, his hometown. He hasn't figured it out yet. Like he's still trying to figure it out, right? We saw the last Boots fight, Mr. Storyline. We saw that fight. Like, oh wow, lost the plot. You lost a lot of plots. You lost a lot of money, Mister. I paid Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight freaking Sandor Martin and freaking in a fight nobody gave a shit about. Mister, I paid like almost 8 figures for a Vargas Garcia fight. Like, what are we doing? Wow, great storyline, Eddie. That was amazing. I do declare. You lost the plot, mate. Shut up. Right? He lost the plot. I don't have a problem with him. Like, he's been waiting for this fight. You wanted this fight. You know, you've been acting very condescending, right? Throwing backhanded compliments, talking all this dog shit. You know, like, we knew this is how you felt. This is what you wanted to say. Now you said it, right? From now on, talk like this. Don't give us the cheeky little bullshit, right? It lacks the passion. I've enjoyed the fights with Zufa. Turkey's not stupid. He knows what it is, bro. Right? They're not breaking bank and they're not paying, right, what they've been paying your fighters in fights you admitted you're losing money on. Turkey wants, what about what Turkey wants? What about it? From your own mouth, right? You paid fighters 200%, right? More than what you made. Meaning you're in the red, you're in the negative, you're losing money out of your own mouth. I lost money with Jai. I didn't make any money with Jai. I do declare I lost money with Jai. I'm a smug little asshole. I lost money with Jai. Yes, I did. Oh, brilliant. I lost money with Canelo. The Zone didn't make any money with Canelo. I do declare. I do declare. Really? Wow, brilliant stuff. You lost money with Canelo. Like, what are we doing? Wait a second. He said the Zone did. He said he lost millions with Jai, right? He like, what are we doing? Like you lose it. Like, you think I've forgotten about that little arena where you had Sky Nicholson on that nobody watched? That seats like 1,000 or 2,000 people. You think I forgot about that, Eddie? But you want to talk about the venues and the energy and what was the storyline there with Sky Nicholson? What was the storyline exactly? Right? What was it? I mean, we know it's not Phantom of the Opera, but what is it? Right? Is it Sleeping Beauty? Like we just all fall asleep watching the beauty? Like, well, what was the storyline exactly? I'm trying to figure this out, Eddie. Right? And now what are you going to do? Yes, we're going to put Sky Nicholson in a main event pay-per-view. Yes, we are in Australia. She's never even headlined an event. Like, she's fighting in empty arenas all the time. Because she joins in the Matchroom Carnival, just following the carnival around. You think she's a star? What's the storyline with that exactly? Sleeping Beauty. Everybody just falls asleep watching the beauty. I do declare. That's all it is. What are we doing? And I like Eddie, but come on. What are we doing? Imagine if I didn't like him. All right? I go to Arizona to watch Bam Rodriguez against Sonny Edwards. I get there. It's fucking like it's half empty, bro. There's no energy, no locals fighting, right? It's a lot of Mexican Americans there, but you have like dudes, like you have like, I forgot who they were, by the way, but they were like Irish dudes and British dudes and like no one knows these people, bro. Like, there was no like nothing there, right? Like, this is the guy that wants to brag about the vision. Oh, I have a vision. I have a vision. I do declare. What was your vision there? Like, what vision? What type of vision did you have to put a bunch of, dudes from the UK and put them on an undercard in Arizona? Like, what was the vision with that? Like, please tell me. Like this, let me know. I want to know what the vision was, right? And he better hope Zuffa doesn't sign Bam, because if they do, I guarantee you, first thing, he's going to be in fucking San Antonio, right? Because Zuffa happens to have an Apex, right? And they're utilizing it, right, to air these fights on Paramount. What do you want him to do? You want him to do something stupid like put Matias in the Barclays and sell 200 tickets, right? Is that what you want? Well, what do you want him to do exactly, Eddie? You think they're going to stay there forever? You think that that's what they're going to do? You know they're not going to stay in the Apex forever, so why do you bring that up as if it's going to stay there forever? They don't have a vision like I have a vision, right? Like, what visions, Eddie? So you had Devin Haney fight Prograis. That was a sold-out arena in San Francisco, but you worked with a local promoter to do that, right? And that's what you're supposed to do, by the way. But, I know what I'm going to put Ebony Bridges against, a girl coming off a loss in Yoshida, right? And I'm going to put that as a co-main. Because people in San Francisco that walk around in thongs and naked in parades, somehow they're going to be impressed by lingerie at a weigh-in. Brilliant. What a vision, Eddie. Wow. Right? She didn't even stand out. Half of the audience was probably more naked than her. Right? But okay. You think the crowd in San Francisco... Shout out to San Francisco. But not the fight fans. The fight fans are tough dudes. Not them. Right? Not them. But what visions? Like you tell me the vision. Right? What exactly was the vision, right, in having Liam Paro make his first defense of his light welterweight title in Puerto Rico against an African American? What was the vision, Eddie? Like break it down for me, right? Like, what is it? Well, I do declare. I mean, technically, Australia is like an island nation. It's practically the size of a continent, but you could almost say it's surrounded by water. I do declare. And then, and Hitchens, I mean, he's American. Puerto Ricans are technically American. It's a territory. So it worked. Was that your vision? What a vision. I mean, just imagine if you had the vision of putting Paro and making his first title defense in his home, country of Australia. I mean, maybe that's too much of a vision. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't get it. Right? I don't know. No, it makes more sense. You don't understand the storyline, Carl. Every time I say the name Carl, I think of the Walking Dead, and I don't know if you saw The Walking Dead, by the way, but Carl, like that's what I think about when I say the name Carl. But this is the Australian Carl, so we're not going to pronounce it that way, okay? But like, you don't understand the storyline and the vision of Eddie Hearn. The vision of Eddie Hearn is to put an Australian who just beat Matthias, right? And you're going to have him make his first title defense in Puerto Rico. That's what you're going to do, right? And maybe he thought, well, I do declare, if you say Paro and you pronounce it in Spanish, it does sound, Hispanic. I do declare, William Paro, right? Maybe they would confuse him and think he's Puerto Rican, right? Like William Paro, like, you know what I mean? Maybe that's what he thought, right? But somehow that was the vision of Eddie Hearn, right? I'm not even going to bring up the fights he put in Monte Carlo, bro. I'm not going to put this guy Nicholson on an undercard in Mexico, of all places. And the arena's like all empty. I wonder why, right? I wonder why. It got more empty during the fight. Like, they went to go buy like hot dogs or some shit, or tacos, whatever they serve over there in arenas. And they actually do serve hot dogs, by the way, in arenas in Mexico. I've been there, right? But maybe they do serve tacos too. But, right, like, wow. Sky Nicholson really screams Mexican style. Like it really does. You know what I mean? Like the first thing you think about. Oh, yeah, she fights like a Mexican. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind. What a vision, Eddie. Well, what a vision. You're such a visionary. I mean, manifest destiny type levels. I mean, you envision that whole thing, right? So, now Eddie has done a lot of good, and I think in England he does a great job, right? But you've had the budget. You were given a lot of money by the zone, brother, and you've laid a lot of eggs, right? You spent almost a whole yearly budget on Mikey Garcia, brother, in fights nobody gave a shit about, right? And you openly told everybody you were overpaying. Oh, brilliant job. You go on podcasts with Ariel Helwani and you tell everybody how Bam is not a big star, but you're his promoter. What a vision. I'll take things Don King would never do for 1,000, please. What a visionary. What a visionary. By the way, if they don't have taco trucks in Australia, then I need to get my ass to Australia, get a visa, go to Australia, invest on a taco truck, and because I know people will keep going back. I know it. I just know it. I promise you that you've never had Mexican food, right? Like here in the South of the United States. I promise you. People in the United States haven't had Mexican food like this, like in El Paso, Texas. And we're not going to count Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is trash, all right? But as far as authentic Mexican food, I'm telling you right now, I don't even think they would let me leave the country if I started like making food over there, right? The moment my visa's about to expire, it would just automatically be renewed. Like I'll just be like, wait, what happened? We renewed it, mate. Like, what do you mean? I haven't even applied for it. It's renewed, right? And unfortunately, there's no flights to America, at least for you, for the next 4 years. But get your ass back in the truck, please. You have a line waiting for you. Don't you see? Even the kangaroos are lining up, bro. They came from the outback. The kangaroos can't have enough of this shit. I'm just saying, right? Look, the koalas are here. Like they got a plate, right? I don't know what they're gonna pay you with, but hey. But look, and I'm not gonna air out this friend, and it's not Lyndon, by the way, just because I know I do shows with Lyndon, but I have an Australian friend. When I went to Colorado, and I told them, like, oh, we want to try Mexican. We're gonna go to Chipotle. Like, no, don't. Do not go to the Chipotle. Don't do it. But I want to have Mexican food. Don't go to Chipotle. Right? Don't do it. Do you understand? They went to Chipotle. Oh, I don't like Mexican food. Mexican food. Like, why the fuck did you eat Chipotle? I told you to not eat Chipotle. Like I told you. What are we doing? But, you know. It's like, you know, when like people say like, oh yeah, Foster's beer, and they think they think like that's represents Australia, right? Foster's beer. Or when people think that like kangaroos are just hanging out in Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne, they're just hanging around. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how people sound when they think Chipotle is Mexican food. Right? But with that said, kangaroo taco, let's do it. Hey, somebody's willing to invest. I'm not even joking. We'll get out there. We'll start making some like street style tacos, al pastor, and all that good stuff. In fact, I heard that they eat kangaroo. I've never had kangaroo, by the way. I don't know. I don't know what they taste like. I don't know if it's good or whatnot, but I wouldn't mind like trying some kangaroo tacos if that's actually like an edible thing, right? But there we go. No one drinks Foster's, bro. Like I literally, every commercial here swears that's like the beer of Australia, right? Like they make it sound, every commercial about Foster's in America, like you would think it's talking about like, you know, like it's like a staple of Australia. Like it's like you can't get more Australian than Foster's beer. That's basically what the commercials here in America. That's the perception that's what they put out. All right. So, but I was told that several times. All right. So there you go. Anyway, where were we? Let's go ahead and play the rest of this. I went on a tangent. Let's listen to some of this Jai stuff, and we'll get back to Eddie in a moment. Well, we'll come back to Jai. All right? Fuck the WBC, and here's the back and
It's
forth.
a sick mind for one. I don't.
It's like beating up babies.
Well, that's.
Oh, he thinks he's going to beat up babies. I know declare. How are you going to get these little toddlers and beat them up? What do they have to do with it? What? What are we doing?
It's like beating up babies.
Well, that's a sick mind for one. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about there.
I expected more. This is like beating up babies. I feel like
if I say, man, it's like taking money from a baby, right? Taking candy from a baby. Like, who reacts that way? Who says, D-style? What a terrible thing to say. You're going to take money from babies? Like, what? Like, I'm not literally going to do it, bro. Like, what are you talking about? If I'm watching a boxing fight and say, man, he's going to, I want his head to get knocked off his shoulders. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, you're talking about beheadings? That's a terrible thing to say. Beheadings? Like, bro, like, it's a figure of speech, bro. What are we doing? What? What? He's a dead man walking. Dead? Oh my God. What is going on? I think you need some help, sir. Talking about the dead. Wishing dead on people. What do you mean? I'm just talking, man. I'm just saying. I think that dude has a killer instinct. A killer? Killer instinct? Kill? Kill? How are you talking about kill? Like, what are we doing? I do declare. So,
I came in and I'm beating up babies.
That's quite
like he's acting like Dana's literally talking about being a baby.
disturbing, if I'm honest with you. Say that I don't have any vision.
I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision.
Zuffers, or whatever it's called. What's her vision?
I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary.
What? Getting Max Kellerman to tell everyone that Callum Walsh is the next Roy Jones? Putting Charles Martin on a headline show on a Sunday night in front of 126 people in your garage, in a ring that looks like...
Your garage? You're going to go to your garage? I'm from America, baby. We say garage, okay? Like I'm saying. All right? Well, we invented the language. Well, I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a fuck. Like, what are you going to do about it? What? What's so what? I just think it's funny how he says it. Like, the garage. I don't know if Australians say the same, by the way, but I'm just saying. But like, Zuffa, like, he knows how to say it. I mean, I kind of like how he's being cheeky about it, but why is he so angry? He looks a little mad. Just saying.
Like you've just got it out of a local club show. I mean, what sort of fucking vision's that?
I just talked to you guys, like the show in Monte Carlo, the one in Australia, that Sky Nicholson was a co-main on. Some of the fights he's done here, like have been pretty small shows, Eddie. I mean, I'm just saying. And you've been around for a while. Like you had an established boxing promotion that you got from Daddy. Trust Fund, Eddie.
Here's a belt, and it's Zuffa. Look at the vision. When you compare Matchroom shows to Zuffa shows, quite frankly, Zuffa shows are absolute, complete dog shit. It's in front of 100 people.
Man, he said dog shit. Like, man, you're rarely hear a British dude talk like that. Like I'm saying.
People in a garage trying to manipulate fight fans.
You've done nothing. But Eddie Hearn works for his dad. He works for Dad.
I do work for my dad. Dana White has worked for his daddy for a long time. The Fertitta brothers. And right now, Dana White's got a new daddy. Turkey Al Sheikh is Dana White's pappy. He has got to do whatever he's told.
Eddie. Pappy. Pappy, brother.
It took him a nanosecond to get personal. That's because he's right at the bottom of the pile in terms of quality as a boxing promoter.
So now Eddie is like, oh, he's already coming at me, losing it. I'm not getting the idea. Me personally, guys, I don't feel like Dana's losing it. I just don't feel that way, if I'm honest. I didn't, like when he said it's like beating up babies, he's basically saying they're not putting up a fight. Like, this is too easy. I expected more of a fight, right? That's what, like, oh my God, I found it disturbing that he talked about babies. Babies! Like, what are we doing? He's talking about beating babies in the garage. It took him a nanosecond. I think the production, by the way, of Zuffa is really good, by the way. And it's not going to end here. They're eventually going to go to arenas. They're just starting off. Like, bro, they have a budget. And they're going to be, like, almost every 2 weeks, we're going to have a Zuffa show. Eddie Hearn doesn't understand, bro. It's already checkmate. He doesn't get it. He's over here like, the pawn. He moved the pawn. Look at me moving my queen. I'm moving my queen. He doesn't even know he's about to get his queen tuck, right? Plus, you guys notice that, I want you to notice this, right? Have you guys noticed, if you listen very carefully, right? All these promoters, they're not saying His Excellency anymore. Have you noticed that? His Excellency, Turki al-Sheikh, they're not saying that anymore. All of a sudden, they just dropped the His Excellency. Right? I'm going to tell you why Eddie's mad. I'm going to tell you why De La Hoya's mad. I'm going to tell you why all these guys are mad, guys. This is the cold, honest truth. And I'll let Jaya Pataya, right? Kind of like the song Hit 'Em Up, right? We'll let Jaya Pataya handle some of this. You know what I mean?
Where do you think Brandon fits amongst the competition you've seen so far in your career?
Man, he's up there. You know, we don't take light fights. You know, and Zuffa ain't putting no, bullshit fights together. So we're here for the real deal. You know, my world title's on the line. So I'm ready to do what I got to do to make sure it comes home with us.
Brandon, you gave Jai a lot of credit for fighting with a broken jaw for 12 rounds. You said it
He did fight with a broken jaw.
takes like a special kind of man to do that. How do you beat that kind of man? What will that take from you?
Yeah, obviously, that's a different type of determination. You know, that's somebody who will cut their own hand off to win. So,
Yo, that dude, he's gonna get knocked the fuck out, bro. I'm just letting you guys know right now.
obviously, I just got to cut the other one off. I got to do what I got to do. It's not like, it's no secrets here. You know what I mean? We always do these interviews. We go these different TV shows and do this and that. But I know what it is. That man across from me knows what it is.
We ain't got no bullshit fights over here on this side. Is basically what Jaya Pataya is saying. Okay? That's essentially what he's saying. And the reason these guys are mad is that now they don't have the control that they thought they were going to have. Okay? And now they can't just bully Jaya Pataya around or just flat out ignore him and pretend he doesn't exist. They can't just do that. All right? Like now he's got the backing of TKO. That's a strong backing to have. Now Jaya Pataya, they can't just shelve him. He's going to stay active now. And Turkey's already said he's going to be on my ring cards. And all these promoters who make all of their money from the ring, and from Turki al-Sheikh, who they used to kiss his fucking ass, and now they're being very passive aggressive. Well, good luck with that. That tells me you don't know how to make your moves. You don't know how to play chess. Because that passive aggressiveness is going to lead to your downfall. Because there's a lot of projection going on here. All of these dudes, all of them, were riding off the coattails of the Saudi money. All of them. So the irony of, oh, his daddy is Turki al-Sheikh. I do declare that's his daddy. That's his puppy. Right? Like that's what he's saying. But they were all holding hands and feeling like they were special and getting along with each other because the Saudis were forking up the money. They were paying premium money. That's what they were doing. Zuffa Boxing can now sign the fighters that these other promoters know are good fighters, but maybe they're not marketable. Right? The fighters that are too dangerous to put in the ring with their signed fighters that they don't want to put in tough fights yet. Those are the fighters that Zuffa can pick up. All right? And right now, they're only on the third fight card. And I have my critiques. Yes, Max Kellerman is atrocious. He needs to pipe it down a little bit. But with that said, the fights have been good. It's more boxing for me. It's more boxing for you. The money is being funneled in. And they have a plan. Whether it's going to work or not, it remains to be seen. But they have a plan. They're starting very aggressively trying to sign fighters. They're signing pretty decent talent. This is not like they're signing a bunch of nobodies. And they're on their third show. Rayo is a fighter that beat Pitbull Cruz. Boachuk, some people feel, beat Virgil, but it didn't go his way on the judges' scorecards. These are not chumps that they have in their cards. Like, Jai is the best cruiserweight on the planet. That's what Jai Opetaia is. And that's who they have. So this little back and forth, it's a little strange. I don't understand what the end goal is here unless Eddie thinks he could win the PR war. Right? Maybe he feels if I smear it enough, it won't catch on. And if people don't think it's serious, they won't tune in enough. Right? But what these promoters need to understand is that they don't have that power. They don't. If Eddie had that type of influence, then when he shows up to a city in the U.S. and tells people, oh, man, this is going to be a great card, I do declare, they'll sell it out, but they don't. Okay? So they're basically in the middle building a team. It's the UFC team like that they have right now that's running Zuffa, but he already did it. He was saying, we're building our own like Zuffa team, right? To be in charge of marketing and be in charge of like, the camera work and all whatever the case is. And they're just getting started. So, be as it may. The visibility on Paramount, plus Paramount is sharing the content too, by the way. Very important. And quite frankly, these fight cards have been better than most of the fights that like PBC used to put on Fox Sports. Right? Like it's some of these have been better than some of the top ranked cards, quite frankly, that have much bigger budgets. Not all of them, but a good amount of them. And they're only going to get better. They're only going to evolve more. Zuffa fighters are going to be part of ring cards, right? And what will eventually happen is the moments, like, look, the moment a Zuffa fighter beats like one of Eddie's fighters or a Queensberry fighter, it's like, it's going to be hard to fight that perception. It's going to be difficult, right? So Oscar De La Hoya is struggling to keep Virgil Ortiz signed while Virgil's trying to get out of the contract, while Eddie Hearn is barely able to finally take a deep breath because his deal got renewed with his own. The reality is Turkey is all of your daddies, all right? He's the daddy of all of you. You're all his sons. You've already bent the knee. Don't try to act like a tough guy now, like I'm independent. I don't need Eddie. I don't need Turkey Al-Sheikh. All of you bent the knee to Turkey Al-Sheikh already. I don't want to hear it. Right? So, and it's only just starting. Obviously, if a couple of months go by and the fights are still kind of like what they are now, then yeah, I mean, obviously we couldn't have a different conversation then, right? Are we willing to accept it as just like a club level kind of thing? It's still more boxing for me. I'll be okay with that, but that's not, I don't believe that's where they want to stop. So we're going to keep track of all this week after week, month after month. And we're going to see where it goes. And we're going to see, eventually Eddie's going to want to work with Dana. It's inevitable. It's going to happen, right? Turkey might tell me, I want to see these two guys fight. I want that matchroom fighter fight that Zuffa guy. And if he says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So Zuffa has Jai, right? Who do you got at cruiserweight, Eddie? Who do you got? So that's how I feel about it. And that's all I'll say about that. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Those that just came in, make sure you hit the like button. Go back to the beginning of the video. Watch the whole thing. Hit the like before you go, by the way. I saw more people come in just as I was going to end the video. But once again, I appreciate you guys being here. And I'll answer this last question and I'll call it a wrap. If Zuffa are paying peanuts, why did Matchroom only match Zuffa's offer? Look, what I'll tell you is this, man. One, and we talked about this yesterday, right? I don't care what these fighters are getting made. Let them worry about that, right? But to answer that question directly, I will say this. It's just not true. Like when people are telling, they're paying peanuts, no other promoter in boxing is paying higher bonuses, by the way. That's number one. All right? No one is paying $100,000 for performance of the night. No one is giving, the fight of the night, $50,000 to each fighter. Like, no one's really doing that. I think MVP does it for like big events, but that's about it. Also, don't take it from me. Take it from Robert Garcia. Take it to friends that I know that have, no fighters fighting for Zuffa, and the things that they tell me, I think are great. They help the fighters with the meal prep. They give them a facility to train. They, whatever they need, they could use it there in the Apex, which saves fighters a lot of money, by the way, right? And not only that, when Robert Garcia is saying, man, some of these fighters, they're making 4 times more what they were making before. They're happy. They weren't making anything before, right? And not only that, some of these fighters, the other promoters didn't even want them. And now they're coming. They have an opportunity to win bonuses. They're getting paid. They're actually making money, right? Far too often in the sport, guys don't get the calls. They stay inactive. They get shelved out. They move on. And we have so much lost talent in the sport. So much talent that's really good, and it just gets lost in the shuffle. Right? And Zuffa's going to be signing guys like that. So whatever. Like, if it was up to boxing without Zuffa, they let Boachuk just fade into dust. Right? Because he's not marketable, whatever, and he already lost the fight, so let's just pretend he never existed. Right? Murdazaliev, I hope Zuffa picks him up. Knocks out Tim Tszyu, loses the next fight. He couldn't get a fight after he knocked out Tim Tszyu. He couldn't get a fight. He's a champion. He couldn't get a fight. Finally gets a fight in foreign soil. He loses a close decision, and then you may never hear from him again. But now you have someone like Zuffa who could potentially sign him, and I think that's a good thing, quite frankly. Right? Boxing Vitals, I appreciate you being here, brother. He says, will they be fighting other fighters? That means Dana can't control that fighters winning. And imagine that does to MMA fighters. They don't want to work with other promotions. Yeah, but they have such a monopoly in UFC that they don't have to do that. Like you know what I mean? Like they have like 90% of all the top fighters in the world in the UFC. Obviously, they don't have that with Zuffa, right? But I do believe in order to legitimize themselves, they're going to need some Zuffa fighters to win fights against fighters of other promotional companies or sign guys that are coming off wins that are world champions. That's what they're going to have to do, right? They're in the process of it. And while they're in the process of it, I do think they're going to be, yes, on ring card. Like, he already said Jai Patai's going to be fighting on ring cards. So he's probably going to be fighting non-Zuffa fighters, knocking them the fuck out, right? But that's what he's going to be doing. So the answer is yes. All right. Shout out to Eric Gomez and all you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button. I'm out of here. Peace.